Let the weekend begin. Oh my goodness, have we got stuff going on. Let's say high school playoffs, we got that covered for you. Glenn Rogers Jr. is going to join us in about 8 minutes or so. Then there are the Tigers and the Grizzlies. They both play tonight. We'll talk all things NBA with Andy Schiffman. That'll come your way at the bottom of the hour. And then we will end our week with the AAC Roundtable. Bruce Howard in Tulsa, Corey Glore in New Orleans, voices of the Tulsa Golden Hurricane and the Tulane Green Wave. We'll talk about all things American football and basketball. Oh, and there's one more thing that takes place tonight, and I'm going to miss it because it's right during the Tigers basketball game with Ohio. And I must confess, I was a little surprised at the line. The Tigers are 12.5-point favorites against Ohio. Those are the Bobcats, by the way, not the Tigers, as the commercial appeal had it in the headlines yesterday. And I did call my friend Munzie and did find out that was done somewhere out of the state of Tennessee. It was not done here, and it was certainly not done by him. That was crazy stuff for sure. I don't know how a hometown paper could make that mistake. The thing I'm going to miss tonight because of Tiger Hoops, Mike Tyson, age 55, taking on Jake Paul, age 27. It's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you don't have to pay anything extra. It's there for you. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but I believe that is the first Netflix sporting event ever. And I think they're going to try to become a player in streaming sporting events.
So I know there was it wasn't really I wouldn't call it a sporting event. It was more of a fun kind of charity tennis match on Netflix between Carlos Alvarez and maybe Francis Tiafoe. And it was like right before.
I do not remember that
at
all.
It was like right before. It was like the night before one of the major tournaments happened, and they were just out there. They were both mic'd up. I believe that was on Netflix. I know they've done one or two very small things, but this is certainly the biggest thing they've done.
And I think they want to get into the game. I think
they absolutely do.
I think their ultimate goal is NFL, right?
They're doing the NFL Christmas Day games this year on Netflix. So so this is all building up to that.
How much do you think that's going to cost me more a month if they start doing this?
Well, yeah, it's going.
I mean, I
like
like
a little
Netflix.
pricey, Dave.
I do, but I'll be very upset if it goes way up in price. I am not excited about this thing, and I'm not really sad I'm going to miss it. I'm sure they'll archive it and I could watch it.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
It was already, the whole thing was staged yesterday. Jake Paul comes in, crouches, steps on Tyson's foot. Tyson reacts with a slap to the face. And then Paul makes fun of him, didn't hurt. He's going to have to die from that indignity. You know what I think is going to happen? First of all, why it's even sanctioned, I don't know. They're using 14-ounce gloves instead of 10-ounce, right?
Yep.
They're 2-minute rounds instead of 3-minute rounds. So how could it really be a sanctioned event?
Great question.
Jake Paul's kind of a fraud anyway. He's not a real true boxer. And yet, how much money are they getting? Do you know?
I think they're getting a good amount of money. I'm sure I can find it, but I don't.
Yeah,
do you know
I would like to
much?
know. I would like to know because
look up.
I would give a rust to the people that put this together. Because here's what's going to happen. They're just going to dance around. I don't really believe it'll be a heck of a fight. They'll be dancing around. There'll be a couple of wild swings early. Tyson's 55. Even though he looks pretty good, he weighs his most ever at 233. And apparently Paul moved up to 222. That's the heaviest he's ever been. I just think they dance around, and you know what the ultimate decision will be?
What's that?
Draw.
Probably.
I don't think this thing will be worth a darn. Not a flip. Maybe I'm wrong, and if it is, I'll watch it on replay.
So this is from USA Today. It says neither Mike Tyson nor fight promoters have publicly revealed what Tyson's payday will be for the fight, but boxing industry experts have estimated Tyson can make somewhere in the range of $20 million.
Yeah, I figured it was 10 to 20 million. Hey, what a good payday for a 55-year-old guy that's not done anything.
Sure.
He's an interesting character. When you listen to his interviews and retrospectives that are done with him, they're always intriguing. He's had a life that I think you do get sort of glued in when you watch and see all the documentaries that are done about him. But this to me is just a sham because I don't even believe in Jake Paul. I mean, come on, he's just like a internet sensation, social media sensation.
And he says he wants to become a boxer. He hasn't boxed anybody. The one actual boxer he did fight, he lost, and so I mean,
Right.
it's ridiculous.
And then if he loses this fight, is anybody ever going to care about him again?
I hope not, but we'll see. He's got a huge following, that's for sure.
Yeah, he sure does. I think he's probably already made pretty good money. I'm
it's
assuming
way
he's making the
more
same
money.
thing as Tyson is. So,
Yeah.
you don't need very many more of those kinds of paydays to live a pretty good life the rest of the way. That is for certain. Tomorrow, Tiger football, senior day. Say goodbye to Seth Hennigan and his legacy. Of course, he's going to end up being the most productive quarterback in the history, not just of the school. He's already got that, but of the American Athletic Conference as well. Halton Ahlers at ECU is the number one guy at the moment. I think he's another guy that was a 4-year starter. He's going to be dethroned at some point in not this game, maybe in Tulane or in a bowl game, but it's going to happen because the numbers are not that distant for Hennigan to get to. Nice story by Jonah Dillon in the Commercial Appeal today about what his legacy is, and Seth goes, this is what is amazing to me about him. He says all those numbers are hollow yards. That's what he said, because I didn't win a championship. And the odds are pretty good. You're not going to get that this time either, unless some crazy, crazy stuff were to go your way. So you're saying goodbye to him. You're saying goodbye to Jonah Gamble, who's been around for 5 years. We know that Seth Hennigan is the winningest quarterback in the history of the school. I didn't realize this until our meetings yesterday. Kobe Drake, the Tigers wide receiver, this is the end of his 6th year. 6th year because of COVID. I said to Brock Busick, who's the Tigers sports information director for football, we should add it up. I'm going to contend right now, little Kobe Drake, who is he was a walk-on to begin with, has earned his scholarship, has become a terrific possession receiver, and on top of that, an outstanding punt returner. Surest hands of all. He's had one misplay in any punt in the last 3 years, okay? That was this year. I think it was at Navy. He's played 6 years. I will bet you he's the winningest Tiger football player in the history of the school.
I'd say so.
If we add it up, he will be.
Yeah, because he was in those years, and me and Kobe actually rushed together at fraternity in college. I was a sophomore.
God.
He was a freshman. I was kind of friends with him. I didn't know him as well. I knew a lot of the other walk-ons real well that year. That he was a freshman. But yeah, good guy, really good guy.
So the guy you rushed with?
That's right. Yeah,
is still playing football.
That's right. Now, I was 1 year older than him. I was a sophomore. He was a freshman. But still, yes, he's still out there.
That is impressive. I mean, here you are, married with kids and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got a whole family.
Just kidding, folks. just kidding.
Far from the truth.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope people show up to see Hennigan and Gamble and Kobe Drake and Greg Rubin, who also is a 4-year starter. People forget about that. They really deserve your presence. We got to do this quick because we do have Glenn Rogers already on the line. We have not made our picks. He's going to make his high school picks in just a minute. So let's start with Tennessee at Georgia. I just listened to Brandon Lang say exactly why Georgia's going to win this football game. At home, bouncing back. They don't have Etienne. Iamaleava, he's unfortunately banged up. We're on the road. What will the Tennessee quarterback be like? I don't believe in Georgia anymore. Not at all.
Oh, wow.
I don't believe in them anymore. They are giving away 9.5 as a guy who used to be on this show many, many years ago. Wrong team favored.
Wow.
I'm going Tennessee all the way in this. By the way, on the between you and me in our competition, 15-10, You are 12-13. I'm 32-18 on the year,
you
but
go.
I've struggled the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so have I. But you faked me out. I thought you were going to go with Georgia. I'm going to go with Tennessee as well.
Oh, you're kidding
Yeah,
me.
no, I'm going to go with
That's
Tennessee.
like when we do the same team, it's a lock for a loss.
Yeah, it's not good. But, this Tennessee team relies so much on the run game and on that defense. That'll all be there tomorrow in that game. So I'll ride with Tennessee, and they can definitely, I think, keep this within single digits.
Missouri at South Carolina. The only problem with this game is the Gamecocks are giving away 13.5. But Missouri, without Cook, without their quarterback, are just a very not even average team. They're a below-average team on offense, and their defense is just okay. I think South Carolina's been the hottest team in the SEC of late. I got to go with South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going with South Carolina as well. I think they're playing great ball.
LSU is at Florida. They say Lagway's going to play, the freshman. I don't think it really matters. Does anybody at Florida really care, even at the Swamp? What kind of crowd is it going to be? Will it be that boisterous? Will it be that tough on an LSU team that really has something to prove? If there's ever a week that Brian Kelly had better have his team ready, it's this week. They're only giving away 3.5. If they win by 4, they're a winner. I think they win by 10. I'm taking LSU.
Dave, I'm going with the Florida Gators
Whoa.
in this one. Finally, we disagree on something. I think that LSU's bubble was burst last week with that loss against Alabama at home. Everyone was calling it an elimination game. I think they're going to be down, and I think Florida with DJ Lagway back out there, they haven't had anything to play for all year, so that means they're just out there playing, and so I think they're going to be able to cover this.
Tulane is at Navy. The Green Wave, I think, are for real. They're -7. I don't know about Navy anymore. I think they're bubble was burst when they kept throwing the ball away against Notre Dame. They've not recovered. They lost to Rice, for goodness sake. And I think Tulane is a really good team. And I think Tulane knows they win this. They got the best chance to get into the championship game. It's only 7. It is a tough place to play in Annapolis, but the Tigers have won there several times. Not this year. I got to go with Tulane.
Yeah, give me Tulane.
And then finally, the NFL game. And I didn't quite hear Brandon Lang's final thing on this, but I think it was all Kansas City because he was going, they're begging you to take Buffalo. They're begging you. Buffalo's a 2-point favorite in this game. So you're only giving away 2 points. A field goal is a decider. Kansas City lost their kicker.
That's right.
Butker had to have a scope. He's out for 4 weeks because once you're on the IR, usually from those scopes, you're done in 2 or 3 weeks. You can be back to full strength. But once you're on the IR, it's 4 weeks. So they sign a guy who's been kicked last week with the Jets and actually kicked pretty good. I don't know why they let him go. I still don't understand that. He was on their practice squad, but he did kick in the game. He's kicked for like 4 teams this year. It's like crazy. I don't know if you can trust him. I guess he's good enough. I think he kicked a 45-yarder for the Jets last week. But Kansas City has flirted with danger too many times this year and have been lucky, like a blocked field goal last week. And Buffalo's good, and it's in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And Kansas City's going to lose a game, right?
Yep.
They're losing this week.
Well, yeah, the kind of same logic I have. Kansas City's not going to go undefeated this year, and you look at the numbers you talked about, they've been really lucky. I think all but one of their wins have been 7 points or less this year. And so I think on the road in Buffalo, give me the Bills.
So we only differ on Florida and LSU?
How about that?
Wow, I feel real good about that one already. All right, those are our picks. They are in. We're going to talk about picks with Glenn Rogers in a minute. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and I'm reminding you, the Ultimate Game Room and Fall Sale, that's happening. That's the complete way to go if you want to have your neighbors come and be jealous of what you have upstairs. That Ultimate Game Room with a pool table, shuffleboard, an arcade game, you can have them all. And everybody's going to go, we want to go to your place for the holidays. You can also help them clear out the overstock they have on theater seating, all priced to move. And I'd ask about the massage chairs too, but the theater seats, unless you are apt to fall asleep during a movie or a game when you're that comfortable, that's the only worry because they're fantastic and they're priced to go. And it's the perfect fire pit weather, and all fire pits are 20 to 30% off while they've got the Ultimate Game Room and Fall Sale going on at Family Leisure. And Glenn's also brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Company. And what they do is they want to get to know you. That's the best way to protect you. How else can you really figure out what's the right protection if you don't know your family? And that's what Matt and his team do. They sit you down, they get to know you, then they find out what your budget's like, what your obligations financially are, and then they pick the best protection for your car, for your home, for your future with life insurance. That's the same philosophy, collaboration with commercial insurance. If you've got a small to mid-sized business, that's their specialty. They'll get to know you, your product, your employees, what your budget's like, figure out the perfect number, and then protect your business with the right commercial insurance. Collaboration and then protection. That's the motto of the Eflin Insurance team. Let's head down Ridgeway to MUS. Our coach, Glenn Rogers Jr., standing by. There are so many great high school second-round playoff games this week that are so intriguing. I've picked out 7 that I think are fantastic, and then I'll let you comment on the privates here, a couple of the private teams that are having to go on the road. But good morning, Glenn. Let's start with just a day. I mean, there's like 5 of these I'd like to go to because I think they're going to be that good. Let's start. Houston High School, 9-2. They're at home. They're against Bartlett, 7-3. The interesting thing about Houston is their quarterback, Chandler Day, injured last week. His freshman brother, Cannon Day, filled in. Not sure which day is going to be the quarterback on this day, but I think they're in pretty good shape either way. What do you think? Good morning.
Good morning, Dave, to you and all our listeners on this easy be sunny Friday, playoff Friday. Dave, I'm so excited. And, hey, if it's the freshman Dave, he's got plenty of reps. He's poised. And, this time of year, he's not a freshman anymore, Dave. He's a sophomore now. So I think if his brother has to go, I think he's ready. I think Coach Thomas and his staff has enough trust in the young quarterback, the younger brother, that I think he'll be ready to go if he's called upon or if he has to start. And I think Houston gets to win. I think their season. I think their playoff run has started a couple of weeks ago. They had a big win over Collierville, the arch rival, their last game of the season. I think Coach Thomas got his team poised to make another back-to-back run in a state playoff, state championship.
The key might be here, stopping Jaron Johnson, the running back that's committed to Mississippi State, because he's so good. And a couple of weeks ago, I went against Houston, and I was wrong. So I tend to lean in your direction here, but that'll be a great game. Then
it will be. It will be.
By the way, you were 7-1 last week, so you had a pretty good week in the playoffs.
Hey, there we go, baby. Back on the streak, baby.
Germantown at Collierville. This is a repeat from 2 weeks ago in the rain, where Collierville 10-1 was a winner. Germantown seems to be coming on as they always do at the end of the year. They're 7-4. How do you see this one?
Dave, I tell you, you and I both know, anytime you play a team twice in a season, boy, it's tough to get a second win. And, this game has happened only a couple of weeks apart, like you said. Joe Riccone, I think he has his team, I think, well prepared for this game, and so will Germantown. They'll be ready to go. Gene Robinson have his guys ready to go. But it's at Collierville. The whole town is going to be there. Germantown will come over. This will be a big, big night, a big crowd tonight. I'm going to give Collierville the edge. I think home field advantage plays a part, and I think Collierville quarterback steps up to the plate and leads his troops to a victory.
I like both these teams. I really do. I like both these coaches.
I do too,
Joe
Dave.
Riccone, the former Tiger, and you got
right.
Gene Robinson, who's just on a
And
heck of a job
Tiger. He's a former Tiger, too, a Whitehaven Tiger.
I got a feeling the Whitehaven Tigers are going to get the Memphis Tiger. I got a feeling Germantown's going to win this game because they were coming on strong, and the rain affected that game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it did.
We got a dandy Haywood, 8-3, but so is Melrose, 8-3, and it is at Melrose. Haywood, by the way, 1-3 on the road this year. And Jamarian Morrow hitting his stride. If you don't know much about the Morrows, you got the two brothers. One's the dad, one's the uncle. And there's a great story that was written in the Commercial Appeal. This young guy that just came from, I think, Missouri, actually, and that journalism school. He's doing a great job covering these preps. And he did a great story on the Moros and what this game might mean. So you get a chance to take a read of that. But I got a feeling about Moros, but I don't know. Haywood's pretty good, and they're both 8-3.
They are good, Dave. Haywood's very good. You know, the story tradition program has been good over the years, and what a great story. You know, the Moros, they lost one of their relatives, so they're dedicating this game in his honor, and just a great feel-good story. And, I think Orange Mound will rally the troops tonight. I think everybody in that neighborhood is going to be there in honor of the Moro twins lost a relative. I think this will be a big crowd. I think it'll be
19-year-old
a tough ball game. But I think Melrose will rally the troops. They got a lot to play for tonight in honor of relatives. And I think Melrose pulls out a win, Dave, and keep marching to the third round.
Southwind is at Beach. Both teams are 10-1. Southwind has 7 wins in a row, but I will tell you, Beach has a quarterback, Caden Harris is his name, who is a dual threat between passing and running well over 1,000 yards. He's the real deal. It's interesting. The local Wendell Shepard, I think is his name, he picked Southwind big in this game. The guy that does the statewide for Gannett, Tom Krieger, he picked Beach big in this game. Who do you pick, Glenn Rogers Jr.?
Well, I tell you, Dave, you got 2 dual-threat quarterbacks that are phenomenal. One's a senior, one's a junior. The kid from Southwind's a junior. And I tell you, you going up the Beach, and it's going to be a great environment tonight. The weather's great. I'm leaning more toward our Southwind group. I think Coach Griffin and my cousin Earl Lester, they go on the road and pull out a close victory. T.J. Mays, a hard-hitting free safety for Southwind. I think he'll make a lot of tackles tonight because he'll have to with dealing with that dual-threat quarterback. I think Southwind defensively are going to step up tonight and get the job done. But it'll be a close ball game. I'm thinking a field goal may win this game tonight.
Lausanne 7-2. They got to go to play Boyd Buchanan. Boyd Buchanan is 11-0. This is a tough task for Kevin LeCastro's team because Boyd Buchanan has only allowed 11 points per game this year. This is a tough one.
Yeah, and Dave, going on the road in a hostile environment, a team that's 11-0, and on that road, I'm telling you, Dave, you and I both know when you go in these small towns for these playoff games, everything is closed down because these people love their football. And I think Kevin, he's a seasoned veteran coach. He'll have his guys ready to play, but I think this will be a tall task tonight to go in there and beat an undefeated team. I think Kevin them fall a little bit short tonight, and their season end tonight up on the road tonight.
Okay, I would think that is pretty spot on. South Fulton is 9-2. They're at Mays 8-1. It's a rematch of last year's first round game that Mays won big. Again, we have a difference of opinion. The statewide guy says it's going to be South Fulton. The local guy says it's going to be Mays. I tend to think Mays is going to rip them apart.
Yeah, it's Cedric Miller, the former Tiger, former Fairleigh Bulldog, the coach over at Mays. I think Ced has his troops ready. I think they'll get a win tonight. They're at home. They'll have a nice crowd out there tonight. And I think Ced marches on to the third round and get a win tonight against South Fulton.
Hillcrest, only 4-7, coming off, an upset of Kip last week. They got to take on Fairleigh, though. 9-0 and great defense, and they're fresh because they had a bye in the first round. That one seems easy to me.
Yeah, and Fairleigh, I'll tell you, Dave, Fairleigh is you're talking about a good story. They brought their school, the pride and their football program is back. They got a young coach with a young staff. And, Gene Robinson started off a couple of years ago when he was at Fairleigh and got it rolling. And this guy just picked up the ball and kept it going. And I'm going with Fairleigh. Now, I think Fairleigh makes a deep, deep run in the playoffs. They had a bye last week. I think they make a deep run and get to that state final game this year finally for the Fairleigh Bulldogs.
And then finally, the two big powerhouses on the private side, that's CBHS and MUS. They are both traveling on the road. The brothers at Macaulay, the Owls at Baylor, they are big underdogs in both games. Do we see any upsets here?
Yeah, I think there's those teams in Chattanooga hold serve that football in Middle and East Tennessee has surpassed us big time, and with the facilities and Baylor and Chattanooga recruit all around the country. They got guys on the team from Canada. I think both Memphis teams tonight, where they run into buzzsaw tonight. It's just a tall mountain to climb. You're traveling 6 hours, and then you're playing again. I think Baylor has like 8 or 9 Power 4 guys committed. One of them is a Memphian, Joe Kim Dotson. Then Damon Dotson, the former Tiger great son, he's committed to Tennessee. It's a tall mountain to climb when you're going on the road to these teams in Middle and East Tennessee, and they got everything you need to have successful programs. And it's going to be a tall task for both Memphis teams tonight to overcome.
Thank you, Coach. We'll talk again next Friday. We'll have round 3 of those playoffs coming your way.
Absolutely, and go Tigers, go! And congratulations on all the senior Tigers, Dave, on senior night. Very proud of this group of seniors and Seth Hennigan, who's the leader of this bunch, and just so happy that these guys have stuck together and be honored tomorrow night. We need to see a big crowd out there tomorrow night to support these guys.
I'm with you on that one. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. That is Glenn Rogers Jr., brought to you by Southern Security. Whether you're a small business owner, maybe a single mom, maybe you're buying your first home, Southern Security is the place to go. They can be your trusted financial partner, and they've been doing that for people for over 75 years. That's how long Southern Security has been serving the Mid-South community with the best rates, the best of service, and always the newest technology. They've been voted the best credit union in the Mid-South for 6 straight years. There's a reason. And you can find out how you can join that Southern Security family very easily 2 ways. SouthernSecurity.org, the modern way, or you can do it like I like it. You can actually talk to a human being on the telephone at 901-452-7900. Southern Security, a proud supporter of U of M athletics and 901 Women. Southern Security is your home team credit union and federally insured by NCUA. And this portion of the show brought to you by the Spirit Shop. Go see Eddie. The weekend is here. There's tonight basketball. There's playoff football. Tomorrow you got Tiger football with a lot of partying on Tiger Lane. You need to stock up. He's on the way right there at Poplar and St. Nick. 4848 Poplar, just down from Clark Tower. It's the little log cabin you've seen. Inside it's not so little. It's got so much product in there, from valuable bourbons to up-and-coming tequilas to the latest in gins to the bargain in whatever spirit you're looking for. Like, you want an up-and-coming wine, he can tell you why it's up-and-coming. If you want something that's really moderately priced, he's got that. And again, if you want rare, you want something that is considered top-notch, he's got that too, and he's got the education to tell the difference. All you got to do is go in and ask Eddie Connor at the Spirit Shop. We're back in a minute. We will chat in Chicago, all things NBA, with our agent from Priority Sports. That is Andy Schiffman, and he's next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Corky's Barbecue. Cooking it up. Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like a good old day.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Memphians have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or a crowd of thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor. Corky's Barbecue.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Hey everybody, it's the thankful month and All-Star Chevy here in Olive Branch has red tags on everything. New 24s and 25s. Gotta love these new affordable Equinoxes for $25. Red tags, 0% financing, a ton of cash for you. Red tags on Silverados, the new 24s with 1.9 plus $3,750 in cash. New Colorado trucks, financing down to 1.9 and not one payment until February. Hey, your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. All-Star has pre-owns that you want. Jeep and SUVs, Toyota, Nissan, Suburbans, Tahoes, and tons of pre-owned Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Drew and everyone at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch wishes you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving. Together, let's drive. AllStarAutoGroup.com.
Getting engaged soon? Don't make her settle for one of those knockoff mass-produced rings you find in most jewelry stores. Get to Genesis Diamonds and get her that one-of-a-kind ring she really wants from a world-class designer. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and Genesis Diamonds has the rings on every woman's wish list. Truly handcrafted rings made in the USA from names like Tacori, Carraggio, and dozens more. Oh, not even allowed to sell these amazing brands when you can get them at Genesis. This is one amazing store owned by a former diamond wholesaler. Every diamond is straight from the cutter with rock bottom prices, and nothing's held back. They'll show you the inside secrets of the diamond business and teach you how to buy like a dealer buys. They can also explain the differences between natural and lab-grown diamonds, so you can buy with total confidence. We're lucky to have Genesis here, so check them out. Their beautiful showrooms with hardware and permits extended. You will thank me. Check them out online at GenesisDiamonds.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Breaking news. We just got 4 tickets to tonight's game between the Tigers and Ohio, which the U of M, by the way, is 12.5-point favorites in that particular game. 4 tickets for you and your family on us. Are they good tickets, Bryant? Do we know where they are?
Oh, yeah, they're good tickets. I don't know exactly where they are, but they're good tickets.
Good tickets. All you got to do is call 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255, second caller, and you get all 4 tickets. You can take friends, family, whatever you want. 901-360-8255. Second caller, I should say. And we've got one right now. You will get tickets for tonight. In the meantime, to Chicago we go. Our friend Andy Schiffman standing by. You don't want to go tonight, do you?
I was going to say, give me those tickets, Dave. Come on.
Your father would love that. I know that.
Absolutely. Wish I was there to go.
Yeah. Well, you are where you are. You're probably watching some Emirates Cup playoff, the in-season tournament. I thought it was brilliant how they got Emirates involved in all of this, and I'm sure they're paying a whole lot of money.
Sure.
My question for you is the gaudy courts and everything, which I'm old school. I don't love. I think young people really do like it. Is the play-in thing, is this really a exciting thing? Is it working like the league wanted? Do the players really like it?
Sure. Well, I think there's 2 important things that the league hoped to accomplish here. Obviously, is to drum up increased fan interest, and the players definitely. They want the players to be excited about it, and I think they've accomplished both those. This is obviously the second year of the Cup. Lakers won it last year, as we all remember. And the players, I can tell you right now, they love it. I was actually just in New York the day after they played Philadelphia in Philadelphia. Embiid's return on Tuesday, and then I was at the Bulls game, which was one of the more amazing games I've ever witnessed on Wednesday. It was not a cup game, but I was talking to one of my players on the Knicks about that first cup game in Philadelphia, and he even said, look, it's an increased level of intensity. There's an incentive. You're playing for something extra. Winning players, I think, get north of $500,000 this season if you win. And just the bragging rights of winning the cup, they really enjoy it. I think you may see a different level of intensity that you wouldn't have seen here in mid-November in the 24-25 season had it not been this extraneous competition for the cup. And the courts, it's interesting. I think obviously they're, by and large, pretty similar from last year. I think the league informed the teams on some of the colors that would not work or would be less ideal. I think a team like the Rockets really didn't heed that advice because they still have a very sharp red court, which can be tough on the eyes if you're watching. But again, I was watching that Philly Knicks game Tuesday, and I was talking to my player, and they had a very sharp, very loud blue court. The Sixers did. And I asked him if it made any difference.
I didn't like it.
He said it doesn't make a difference out there playing. I mean, obviously, once you get going and playing, I asked, does it have any effect on your depth perception? Obviously, your eyes are so used to a typically colored, that brown hardwood floor, and all of a sudden you're going out there and you see a very solid, bright, loud color. He said, no, it doesn't really have any impact. Obviously, from us as the viewers, we're in a different perspective, seeing the home court pretty much the entire game. But the players love it, and that's exciting.
I can't picture like some of these old school guys, these old Celtics, for instance, that would have, they love the parquet, that said something, and then instead they're the one that Boston uses is although they played in Atlanta, right?
Yep.
Now that was crazy. They beat Atlanta by 30 in the opening game, and then they play in the cup and lose without Trae Young. What does that tell you?
Without Trae Young, it's an extra incentive. It's interesting to see that this early in the young season, where some of these teams have success without their stars on the floor. I was watching the Dallas-Utah game last night. Dallas made a nice run to get back in the game after being down double digits while Luka Doncic was on the bench. I was at the Knicks game, as I mentioned. The Bulls were up big, I think close to 20 or 22, and the Knicks in the end of the third quarter into the fourth went on a 17-0 run without Jalen Brunson on the floor. And they ended up losing. It was an amazing last-second shot by Brunson that was literally halfway down and then rolled out. But Memphis' own Cam Payne, who's with the Knicks now, he played really well.
Is he your guy?
On that little run. He's not.
Oh.
You think he would be with the Memphis connection?
Yeah,
but
I
no,
would have
he's
thought.
not.
Okay.
So
there's a guy. The $500,000 would mean something to him if they won the cup. Yeah,
absolutely.
He's not making all that much money, I don't think, in the league.
No, he's on a minimum, but it's added. I mean, look, if you're on a minimum for 7, 8, 9 years in the NBA, you're going to gross over $10 to $15 million right there if you're smart with your money.
Right. Well, if you're in the stock market the last few month or two, you're in really good shape. All right, let's. You mentioned Philly. Let's talk about them. No one would have thought they'd be 2-9 at this point. No one would have foreseen the reactions that people have had toward Joel Embiid. What's going to happen there with that team and with Embiid?
Wow, it's really interesting. It's probably the biggest storyline, either Philadelphia or Milwaukee, to start this season. Obviously, the positive side, you have Cleveland, who's still undefeated. Golden State probably overachieving as well. But with the Sixers, if they continue down this path and they're significantly below 500, which is at this point probably likely by the time we get to the trade deadline, what happens, right? Does Embiid speak up and demand a trade? I don't see it coming to that. But obviously, there's already been a lot of turmoil going into this season with Embiid. A lot of vocal critics, as we've all seen. He's obviously gotten into it already with the media, which cost him 3 games. So they really have to right the ship. And I think a lot of that comes with Embiid returning, playing consistently. And look, Embiid on the court, I'm not worried. He's going to be fine. He was shaking off the rust the other night. He's not playing back-to-backs right now. I'm not worried about his performance on the court. They're going to get the Joel Embiid back, who is the MVP of the league, and in those conversations every single season. But again, managing those injuries, managing the expectations of the Sixers fan base and the local media. I said it over the summer after they made the trade for Paul George. Again, it's all based on health, but I think if you had a fully healthy Maxey, George, and Embiid, which you don't right now, and it's a shame that Tyrese Maxey's out for probably at least another week or so with his hamstring issue because he's been setting the world on fire with his play. I think you could compete for a championship if you're the Sixers. I'm not saying they would win it over Boston, but I think you're right there and could definitely be a really intriguing Eastern Conference Finals if it led to that between the Sixers and Boston. But we're so far removed from that now.
Well,
so I don't want to.
You already mentioned the team. It's like you've seen my notes. You mentioned two, Cleveland and Golden State. I want to get to them.
Yep.
We don't have a lot of time.
Sure.
Cleveland is 13-0 now. When they were 12-0, I read this stat, almost every team that started 12-0 has made their conference finals. Made the NBA finals. So if that's the case, Cleveland's going to beat Boston or Philly or whoever else, the Knicks, whoever else may be in this thing. Cleveland would be the Eastern Conference rep in the finals. Do you believe that'll happen?
Man, I really want to buy into Cleveland. We as an agency actually have like 5 players on the team, and so I watch them pretty religiously. I think their bench is one of the deepest in the NBA. I think Kenny Atkinson has done a great job getting everybody on the same page, which they just did not have last year at J.B. Bickerstaff, who's now in Detroit. I think everyone is rejuvenated there, and it's Donovan Mitchell's team, right? It's very early to start talking about MVP candidates, but I think either Donovan or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are the 2 top candidates right now for MVP, and it's hard to argue that you don't give it to Donovan right now. But they've got a lot of phenomenal role players that all have bought into, hey, this is Donovan's team, but guys like Darius Garland, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, obviously, and this phenomenal bench can go off at any point in time. And that's what's really been fun to watch. And circle this one November 19th because the next 2 for Cleveland are at home against the Bulls in Charlotte. They should win those 2. And then November 19th, what is that, next weekend or something like that, or next week, rather, next Tuesday, you got a game, big one at Boston. And so is that their first loss? We'll see. That'll be a really, really interesting game. We'll see where Boston is at that point. But, yeah, I mean, Cleveland could absolutely make it to the finals.
Fantastic. All right. And in about 30 seconds, Grizz tonight, first playoff Emirates Cup game against this other good storyline. Golden State has remade their team, and they look pretty good. You talk about depth. The Grizz have that. What's your gut feel here?
I think the Warriors will win tonight. I feel the Grizz are coming off a tough one against the Lakers without Ja. You just had a feeling like the Lakers were going to bounce back with a really little bit of extra grit and incentive against the Grizzlies. And I think the Grizzlies are a very good team, but I think the Warriors are just a better team. And so I think the Warriors will win tonight.
The Grizz may be getting back Vince Williams tonight. They already have Marcus Smart back. Who knows about Bane? And then who knows about Ja? We'll find out more about that. Thank you, my friend. We talk next week.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
You too. Take care. Andy Schiffman, our agent in Chicago, brought to you by Grind City and their newest, the Gator Patrol Tangerine Cream Shower. You heard me. It's tart. It's sweet. It's refreshing. It's got this little balanced hint of cream. You put them all together, you've got a great new product. We know all about the beers. I want you to check out the Grind City Gator Patrol. Their newest, that Tangerine Cream Shower from the company that always brings you a taste of Memphis, Grind City Brewing. Back in a minute. It's time for the roundtable to New Orleans and Tulsa. We talk about the AAC next.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction
tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you're a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe in 2024. We can't wait to serve you.
Want to know what keeps central bankers up at night? The same thing that should be keeping you awake. America's massive debt. Right now, central banks worldwide are doing something unprecedented. They're buying gold at prices higher than ever before. These are the institutions that run the global financial system, and they're betting big on gold. The debt Trump's about to inherit isn't just a number, it's a warning sign. Think about it. The people who control the world's money are rushing to gold. Don't be the one who saw the signs but did nothing. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com now. When central banks speak, wise investors listen. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com and use the promo code TRUMP, and you'll get up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with qualifying account. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
We're making fun to buy a car.
Back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshyn.
Congratulations to Dexter Stevens. He was the winner. He's got 4 tickets to see the Tigers tonight at FedEx Forum play against the Ohio Bobcats. Time for the AAC Roundtable. We go to New Orleans, and the voice of the Tulane Green Wave, Corey Glore, joins us. We also head to Tulsa, and Bruce Howard, longtime voice of the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, joins us now. Bruce. I mean, last night I'm watching. I'm pulling for you because I know it's easier to talk on this show and any show when you win. They give you 4 turnovers. You get down there, you can't get in the end zone. My gosh, it's a tough year for you.
Yeah, it's been difficult, and Tulsa had their opportunities as you saw with the 4 turnovers. And you may remember one of the turnovers for Tulsa was at the goal line earlier in the game. So twice they failed in that north end zone, and unfortunately for Tulsa, they fall short 38 to 31. It was a good game though. A little bit sloppy. There was a lot of penalties. There were 6 turnovers in the game, and as you mentioned, 4 of them by ECU, but Tulsa had a couple as well. So it was an entertaining game, certainly, and East Carolina kind of got it going a little bit now, during the softer part of their schedule, if you will. Now they're bowl eligible after they made a coaching change.
Right, they got there, and you guys now, that was the last chance to be. You had to win every game out. Now you're 3-7, so it doesn't happen. It's been that kind of year for you, though, huh?
Yeah, it's been kind of a weird year because they've had some games that they've had a chance to win, like the game last night and then a game earlier in the year against Arkansas State. And then there have been some some games where they just simply got blown out. And very early, UAB was probably the most disappointing one because they were 1-6 coming into that game,
Right.
and it was 45-7 at halftime. Those are not fun games, as you well know,
No.
to broadcast. So it's been kind of an up and down year, and that's kind of what happens with a really, really young team.
In the meantime, with a more mature team, even though they have some new personnel, it's been a great year for Tulane. They've been on the other side of killing some ball clubs. And I guess, Corey, you're about to walk out the door, get to the airport to go to Annapolis. You guys have Navy this week. Navy's loss to Rice may have put a little damper on the importance of this particular game. Maybe not, because you needed to get to the championship game. I guess I'm not surprised. You're 7.5-point favorites in this game. I know you've had coaches meetings. What's the sense from your guys about Navy and the way they're playing right now? Good morning.
Good morning, Dave and Bruce. And yeah, I try to not look at those lines, but I was a little shocked at that one as well. I think this game's going to be tight throughout. And I think what is standing out just in my chats with the coaches here, Coach John Summerall, is that the way Navy runs their triple option, they do it to almost set up the big play. And so that it's the speed option on the outside. It's Horvath actually going downfield. They're actually using the run to set up the pass. And so as assignment sound as you have to be with taking on a triple option on the surface, it goes on all three levels, because there will be guys that will sneak behind you and they will look to throw to them. And so it's a little bit of a different attack to try and stop this type of triple option when it is playing really well. And for most of the year, it's been playing very well.
And let me tell you, Horvath is faster than you might think. He really does have another gear. So that gets us to Army and Notre Dame. That takes place next week. Army wins that game. They put themselves in a position maybe to be the group of five representative in the playoffs, depending on what Boise does. Do you guys, either of you, think Army has any shot against Notre Dame? Start with you, Bruce.
Yeah, I think they've got a shot, but again, it's kind of like what we talked about when Navy played against Notre Dame. Will the athleticism of the Irish kind of stem the tide against what Army does, offensively? I like Army's defense, so I think they're really, really good.
Yeah.
That said, they haven't gone against the athleticism of like a Notre Dame. So I think they can win. I'm not sure if they will. And that game's in Bronx, I believe, right?
Trying to remember where that game
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's in Yankee Stadium.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
kind
cool.
of a cool deal, right?
Yeah, that's really cool. Corey, do you think they have any shot? Because I believed after seeing Navy that they could beat Notre Dame. And, of course, that was what, Meadowlands? That wasn't even close. That was all those early turnovers changed that game. I don't think Army's going to turn it over like that, but I'm not certain they can beat Notre Dame after what I saw happen with Navy.
I think they have a chance. I'm with Bruce. I don't know if it's that good of a chance, but I do think Army's defense is better than Navy's defense. And so that, with a week to prepare for Notre Dame plays tomorrow against Virginia. And so you do have a bye week to kind of put in extra work, if there is extra work that Jeff Monken can put in. And that defense, I think, is more physical than Navy's by a slight hair. And so I'll give them that puncher's chance to beat Notre Dame. It's fascinating what could be spinning the next couple of weeks here, because if Tulane does win tomorrow, Tulane and Army are locked into the American Conference Championship game, and then the positioning and the rankings becomes a thing. And if Army does beat Notre Dame, then they've got the leg up on everybody.
Right.
And so it's fascinating, I think, what Army has the chance to do here. And I think I saw national media a little bit surprised they were only 24th in this week's poll. Well, next week they're going to have that chance that everyone tends to get of proving that they belong in that discussion. It's going to be pretty amazing to watch.
Well, here's the one thing I do think they do better than Navy, and that's play defense. And that gives you a chance. That's the best part of it for them, because I think their offense can be as equally potent. So we'll have to wait and see. Let me move to hoops. And the league got a good win. North Texas beat Minnesota, while you guys, Bruce, were beating ORU. And I know that game, people don't understand. It's right. How far away are you from the campus of Oral Roberts? That's a war every year, right?
Yeah, it's about 8 miles away, and it's like the Xavier Cincinnati game.
Right.
It's maybe at a lower
Well, you guys
scale,
don't
if you
hate
will.
each other as much as they do you?
No, but I mean, there's definitely some animus there. There's no question about that. And Oral Roberts had won the last 3, so Tulsa really wanted to get. They have a big trophy called the Mayor's Cup. Tulsa really wanted the Mayor's Cup, and they played. They played really well, and Oral Roberts is still a very good program, obviously, and Tulsa had a home game and won that game by 9 and led by 20 in the second half. 9 was as close as ORU got, so it's a good win for Eric Conkle, and they're 3-0, and they go on the road for the first time in Springfield against Missouri State, and that will not be easy.
Yeah, I was looking. Speaking of hoops, I was just looking at the schedule for tonight. Memphis is playing Ohio, and they're favored in that game. But every other American Athletic Conference team is an underdog in the game tonight, which really kind of surprised me, including, Corey, your game against Furman, which I'm imagining you're not doing, right, because you'll be in Annapolis.
Yeah, if that Navy game were an afternoon game, I would have tried to swing it, but not able to do this one.
So here's the thing. Furman is a 4.5-point favorite over Tulane. UAB favored to win the league over Memphis. I don't know if they'd redo this since UAB lost to Vermont at home. High Point is a favorite in that game. Like, I'm shocked at this stuff. I'm not shocked that Boston College is a 1.5 over Temple. Charleston a 1.5 over FAU. We don't know what they're all about. But like UAB and High Point, that's just amazing to me. Have we missed the boat on UAB? Start with Bruce.
I was stunned by that Vermont result as well. Of course, we don't know how good Vermont is necessarily, but I was surprised. But as I heard you tick off some of those odds, it's shocking to me as well. To be honest with you, I think this league sometimes doesn't get the credit it should, and obviously, the Tigers have played a tough schedule so far. I mean, they've far and away had the best non-league schedule here in the early going, and then you have Ohio tonight. So, yeah, that's a little stunning to me.
Well, Ohio's another one of those teams who are picked to win the MAC. They had 20 wins last year, 3 guys coming back, and they're 1-2. They have dropped in the KenPom from 118 to, what is it, in the 140s? Brian, it may be even lower than that. I'm surprised. What Corey? I cut you off, and I didn't really mean to. What's your thought about UAB and the way this thing was predicted, and the way the odds are tonight in these games?
I think it's still too early in the season to start hedging bets on what teams and favorites might be. I think part of UAB and the other side of returning essentially everyone from last year's team that was very good is that now teams have a lot of film and a lot of idea on how to attack that group from just last year and watching them. And so I'm not quite there yet on being worried about UAB. And I think Bruce touched on something there. I think we see the league all the time, and we see that it's, I think, better than the credit that it gets. But I think about, Tulane, this is going to be their first real test of the year. They've not played the best competition this year, and they're going on the road in the Southern Conference. And that's another league that I think just, when you pay attention to college basketball, I think the quality of that league. And so that's where I think you're seeing the UAB line, you're seeing the Tulane line, is that right now, just perception-wise, I think the SoCon maybe has a slight edge on the American top-to-bottom basketball. And so that's where I think that starts coming in.
I'll be curious to see what they think about North Texas the next time they play, because they beat Minnesota. That'll be pretty interesting to see. Guys, always interesting talking to you. I believe we're going to be off next Friday because I will be on my way to Maui. Just like
wow.
Well, look, me and Corey will just do our own show then.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We'll talk to you on the other side of the holidays.
Thank you,
Dave, thanks a lot.
Thank you. That's Corey Glore. That's Bruce Howard. They've been brought to you by Sheldon. It's that time of year, football, basketball, the upcoming holidays. And you know what to do. If you are thinking of selling your home, things don't stop for the holidays. Sheldon Rosengarten knows that. He knows exactly what to do. He sold houses on almost every major holiday, including Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Day. So don't think these are slow times. People buy houses who are transferring into town or folks who have contracts on their houses or who want to take advantage of the good inventory and the lowering interest rates. So if you or someone you know is thinking about selling, here's my advice. Call Sheldon. He says talk to 1, 2, 3 real estate agents. Make sure he's one of them. I just say all you need is him. Because once you learn about his strategy and how hard he works 24/7 for you, you're going to want him. That strategy works. You can reach him at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. We'll see you tonight. FedEx Forum. We'll see you tomorrow. Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. We'll be right back here to reconvene on Monday. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Boxing and Fitness offers a high-energy, full-body workout that utilizes the same equipment and technology employed by Floyd Mayweather to achieve his impressive 50-0 record. The workout features 4 types of heavy bags, treadmills, rowers, battle ropes, weights, and much more. Visit Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, located at 2257 North Germantown Parkway in Cordova. Train like a champ. Mayweather Boxing and Fitness, 901-673-1267.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around